It's great to have you and a warm welcome to you wherever it is you're watching and joining us from around the world. This is Enterprise Weekend and we're reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebiki.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
All right, in a bit, we'll be heading straight to our newspaper headlines to see all that we have for you from the newspaper headlines. And right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But please do well to visit us when you want to. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. With us today to do good to all we have newspaper headlines particularly, then possibly we head straight to our main conversation. Cyril Abaku, journalist and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Good morning, Cyril.
Yes, and we have another journalist in the house, Emeka Madunago. Good morning, Emeka.
Hello.
Thank you so very much for your time. All right, so let's kickstart all that we have for you this morning, but particularly we have a breaking, interesting news story.
Okay, the news story is from Israel, and the IDF launched a strike on military sites throughout Iran, weeks after missile attack. A little body to that story, Israel launched its long-awaited retaliatory strike against Iran early Saturday, weeks after the Islamic Republic's massive ballistic missile barrage on the country, with the military saying the precise strikes by the Israeli forces targeted strategic military sites, specifically drone and ballistic missile manufacturing and launch sites, as well as air defense batteries. Reports of explosion near Tehran began to emerge around 2:15 a.m. local time, with the Israel Defense Forces quickly releasing a statement confirming that it was attacking in response to months of continuous attacks from the Iranian regime against the state of Israel. Now, Cyril Abaku, starting with you. Is this a welcome development, or is something that is beating drums of higher war or deeper conflict coming?
It depends on what Iran wants to do, but we expect that they're going to also retaliate. As a matter of fact, Israel's offensive has only begun today, or Israel's retaliation has begun today, but it may take, we don't know what they're going to do. They're just starting it now. It may take 1 day, 2 days more. It could be a lot more than that. But the good thing is, good in quote now, is that they appear to have taken the advice of their allies, which is to say avoid nuclear sites, avoid energy sites, avoid their oil installations, go after military targets, which is what they basically done. And are doing this on the against the backdrop of America's deployment of the THAAD system to Israel last week, as well as the deployment of about 100 troops in Israel. But the American people didn't take part in what is going on now. This is just Israel retaliating for the October 1 attack on Israel. So the point will be, if Iran is looking for a long-drawn battle, Israel says, I'm at the doorstep already. Let's have it. Hopefully, we don't come to a point where they roll the carpet. When I mean roll the carpet, where they bomb so bad that they have to now roll the earth away to start civilization all afresh. Okay. But clearly, Israel is the dominant power because Iran is isolated in the entire region. Lebanon should have provided a base for them by Hezbollah. Hezbollah has been, you see, that was why Netanyahu, in my opinion, delayed the response. Between October 1 and today is almost a month, 25 days or so. They decimated Hezbollah to a reasonable extent. They killed Nasrallah, they killed Safieddin, they've killed a number of their commanders. And that is not to mention the pager attack that took place earlier, right? On the Hamas side as well, they've taken out Haniyeh, they've taken out the military commander, and then the man that masterminded the last year's attack. What's his name? Yassinwa. So largely the leadership of Iran's proxies have been they've been taken out, okay? And Iran itself is also not very strong because the people of Iran do not side with the extremist hardline position of the Iranian regime. Whenever people protest, it is the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps that's always unleashed against them. You saw that even after the Iranian president, that the successor was a moderate. If people's vote in it counted, they voted for a moderate. It tells you that the Iranians themselves are not necessarily supporting the hardline extreme position of their government.
But that's the same thing with Lebanon too, because the Lebanese people necessarily do not support what Hezbollah, is doing. But the attack on Lebanon is not just on Hezbollah, but the entirety of Lebanon, which means everyone would suffer for it.
No, so right now you've taken us to Lebanon, so let's go to Lebanon. Hezbollah is in the south of Lebanon, which is like the north of Israel, right? So they are in the south of Lebanon. Now, south of Lebanon, I mean, that is where their base is. They have their weapons, they have their army, they have their political base,
Financial institution.
Yes.
Or with their banks in Beirut.
So if you want to deal with the enemy, you have to deal with him on the line and behind the line as well. So when you see these attacks on parts of Beirut and so on, I'm not Israel spokesman. I know people sometimes tend to see things that way, but the point is that everything Israel is doing is targeted at what at Hezbollah itself. The Lebanese government is different from Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a political party, has a military wing, has social services, and they have MPs in parliament. So they have a reasonable presence in Lebanon. Their MPs win elections, go to parliament and influence lawmaking. Lebanon is split between largely the Christian, Muslim, and which other one now. So
the Druze.
And then they have a lot of rotating power. But Hezbollah's influence has continued to grow over time. So if you look at what Israel is in Lebanon, is there a government in Lebanon? There's no Syrian government in Lebanon. The Hezbollah is the de facto government. So when you deal with it was only that America is trying to work with them to see how they can make of course there are many contenders, but I think we understand America is backing the military chief to become the next president. Something Ayun, Mr. Ayun also, General Ayun. But the point is that any organization, even if it comes as a state power, that says that its own dream is to perpetuate itself and spread its ideology. Before that, it was communism, Soviet Russia. They wanted to have world revolution, according to Leon Trotsky. Now it's Iran, and they're not hitting the agenda. Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah. They want to spread a global caliphate. Well, good luck if you succeed.
All right, Emeka, at a time when Egypt, just a couple of days back, is calling for a ceasefire and a truce between Israel, Hezbollah, and of course America, trying to see what they can do, this retaliatory measure from Iran, do you think that would scuttle that truce that Egyptian people are trying to create? Then are we looking at an all-out war in the Middle East?
There won't be an all-out war in the Middle East.
Really?
Because you know what, Iran, I think the leadership of Iran must be made up of some aging and confused people. Because if there is one thing that successive US presidents have craved for, is a direct hit on Iran. Because of his nuclear capabilities, it's a direct hit. But by these airstrikes, Israel has fulfilled what those presidents have been looking for, what America had kept itself from doing. Israel is like a client state for the United States.
It's a proxy. Let
me call it more like a client state. Oh, I'll tell you why I said client state.
Okay.
You see, like my colleague Cyril said, American people are not involved. Mm-hmm. But what is Israel using?
American.
Don't you answer it? Okay, good. Now, backed by whom? The United States. Which was what the US wanted to push Nigeria into, using Nigeria against Niger. And then maybe along the line, Nigeria would have now become another client state. If there's any African nation that, is not in the good books of the US, they'll point Nigeria. Come on, go and, So, but President Bola Tinubu cleverly and smartly, that should even count as one of his achievements, cleverly dodged that bullet, and saved himself from palpable misery. So, now Iran has provoked these strikes by its own preemptory strikes. But what happened? Hezbollah was taken down. Hamas has been almost wiped out. And then Saudi Arabia is not interested in joining, because if you take out Iran's oil production capabilities, let me tell you one thing. Why I say Iran is confused. You need to gauge the times when you do certain things. You don't just rush, because some hawks who cannot tell the difference between night and day are just pushing you, go. You need to judge. One, OPEC. their production costs with the cuts they imposed on the quota they imposed on their members will excuse me, expire by December. And Saudi Arabia is ready to replace anybody that is thrown out. So if Iran is out, Saudi Arabia is ready to cover. So they won't join the war. They're even happy. Let Iran be taken out. If the situation in Libya, continues to be fluid and Libya goes down one way or the other, Saudi will be very happy to ramp up its oil production. Then again, knowing that you have been in the crosshairs of the United States leadership for more than a decade, and then knowing that they would readily prompt Israel will be ready to do the bidding of the United States. Why were you now going to strike Israel? Of course, you're under sanctions. So all they need to do is just consistently bomb, and they've hit your ballistic sites, hit your drone sites, so they're weakening your military capability. And if they continue like that, and they take out your military capabilities, you're just a sitting duck.
And you think Russia won't step up and...
No. You see, Russia itself is also being cautious with Iran. Russia itself is also being cautious with Iran. Because
most of the drones used in Ukraine were actually brought in from Iran, isn't it?
I agree, but you know what? You see these big world powers, while they may be pushing you and prompting you, they don't want you to measure up to them. That's the thing. If not, they would have propped up North Korea by now. No? North Korea would have been propped up as an alternative. But even while you're doing the Russia-China thing, you're also looking at anything that can hurt your economic interests. And if you see right now, the sanctions are really hurt Russia. If you look at the meeting they just had, the BRICS, you saw what Russia was saying now, calling for, that members should start looking for an alternative to the dollar. But even at the meeting, they were not able to. Which alternative? Is it ruble? Is it the ruble? Is it the naira? Is it the Brazilian peso that you're going to use?
The naira is a vice versa.
Now, just before I leave this topic, see, I think it's very important that we do this. In November, less than a week from now, November 6th, Americans will be going to vote. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, prayed not to see this happen because it will give a very big blow on the opportunities for Kamala. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu is all out wanting to fight Iran, which of course is of benefit to Trump if you take a look at it. Now, how do you think this would affect elections on November 6th? Yes.
Let me come back from where you left off. Russia will not it's likely not to come into this because they're already too tied down.
That is in Ukraine, yes.
One. Number two, you saw that the other day they said they spotted North Korean soldiers in Ukraine, in Russia, in Kursk. So Russia will may not be very wise to have one leg in Ukraine, another and stretch itself thin again, going towards You see, the thing is this: as much as the world powers try America, they know that they're not on America's level. China is not there, Russia is not there. So see what they do. They are mindful of China could almost fight America. But they wouldn't. They're using economic diplomacy. You must be careful. The world order stands in a certain way. America is still almost like a unipolar power. Yes, they are.
Militarily.
Economically.
In all this sense.
Technologically.
The thing is this. The influence a country wields matters. Do you think all those are doing business with China are for China? There are some countries that do business with China because they've been told to go China's way. And when the chips are there, that's when you know who really stands well. But let's leave that one. Now, we are coming to the issue of the American election. Well, I think that everything that's happened up to this point has happened almost inevitably.
Okay.
Israel knew how to hurt Iran. First of all, there was last year's attack on Israel. They couldn't keep quiet, right? Then while Israel was, as we say in Nigeria, generally quietly fighting Hamas, the Hezbollah fired rockets into Israel. They waited for the right time to go there. After they are taken out, they are dealt with Hamas. They now faced Hezbollah, and within weeks or months, you see what they've done to Hezbollah. Now, having killed the leaders of Hezbollah, and then the leader of Hamas in Tehran. Come on, in Tehran, in Tehran. So inevitably, Iran will have to do something to Israel to show that why did you attack her? Yes, it was inevitable. Now, if you now attack Israel, like watch Israel, they should fold their arms. They will not. They will have to also retaliate. Now Israel did much. Maybe if the attack had happened, maybe if Iran's attack on Israel came late as now, most likely Israel could have deferred their response to you
after the election.
But that couldn't happen because you can't attack me on October 1 and I just keep waiting. That was why American media, they couldn't stop them, so they could only appeal to them.
And they now send troops. Everybody wants to take advantage.
Everything is just so. You wait until you see how Kamala Harris and Biden are going to spin this attack.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's even good for them.
They will spin it.
It's good for them.
So you wait for the spin first. That's
Thank you.
see, politics is always the same side.
Thank you, Sir Labakwa.
All right, so let's move on to the Saturday Vanguard newspaper. We have the big story here. World Bank to Nigeria. NYSC, your gold mine. And the writer here says leverage on it for industrialization.
Okay, moving on the top strip. While Nigeria will continue to import petrol, that is coming from an investigation team. Details are on page 8.
And also we have the Igbos easily subdued at home these days. How viral video from unknown face shot down Southeast for 2 days.
Okay, still on the top strip. Faramo demands reassignment of Rivers Assembly case to Port Harcourt. Details are on page 20.
All right, so let's take a look at Igbos easily subdued at home these days. How viral video from unknown face shot down Southeast for 2 days. Emeka Madunagu, you're very familiar with this story. I do not know how to describe this again. I do not know. What do you think is the problem here? Unknown faces are becoming so big in the territory that they make statements and a majority of people adheres to such statement. How did the Igbo people descend to this level?
Well, when you say the Igbo people, there are Igbos all over the world, not just in
particularly in the south.
No, the south is you don't only have Igbos. Let me tell you, it's very straightforward. You see, there are people, who are playing up sentiments from the Civil War. So my people have refused to let go of anger, resentment, bitterness, arising from the Civil War. I have tried as a peace advocate in different places across different circles. I've been called names, I've been threatened, my life has been threatened and all of that. As at some days ago, even among my fellow journalists, I've said, listen, yes, there are enough things that we can say this, go on did this one did this, but we cannot continue to remain on the ground with go on. We cannot continue to remain on the ground with Murtala Mohammed who carried out the Asaba massacre. Murtala Mohammed is long dead and gone. We cannot remain on the ground. Can we forge ahead? We've been able to rise from the ashes over 15 years after the Civil War ended. Can we rise from that ashes, and forge ahead? Okay, they gave us only 20 pounds. Yes, but from 20 pounds, you remember the parable of the talents in the Bible, right? The Lord Jesus Christ gave people different talents. The man that was given 1 talent went and buried it. But the others did this. We were given, let's say, in the matter of metaphorically speaking, given 20 talents, right? And from 20 talents, we've been able to build such, a profile, even much more than we had before the Civil War. You can say before the Civil War, how many billionaires did it was that? Basically, it was Ojukwu. It was Odumegwu Ojukwu, who was Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu, who was basically the billionaire, of the Southeast. But since then, we've multiplied billionaires across. So many young people doing so many things. Did we have a car manufacturing plant in the south, in the east at that time? No, but today we have one. We had Anamco. Today we have Innocent. We have some others coming up here and there, and then different things. Then we've been able to better integrate with our fellow Nigerians. Can we just move forward? Can we move forward and define our essence beyond still holding on to the Civil War? That is one. Two, are we saying that it is these fellows who keep giving all this fear-mongering again, that are, let's say Nigeria, for instance, says, okay, you want Biafra, vote. You have Republic of Biafra. Is it this kind of people that we're looking forward to leading us? Ask these critical questions. Is it this kind of people that we're looking forward to? Even Nnamdi Kanu, who was preaching here, telling them, don't worry, if we realize Biafra, you will become a minister, you will become a this. Nnamdi Kanu himself is drawing back from those sentiments, because he has seen that some people now took some of those comments beyond the ordinary meaning and went and started killing people and all of that. I said, no, you sit at home, no more. All these killings, kidnappings, I'm not a part of it. Is it this kind of people? Will you be willing to risk billions of naira investments of Igbos in places outside the southeast because you want to achieve something by fire, by force? I've told my people, you need to think strategically. There's an Igbo word called Akonuche. I keep telling my people, beyond Akurulo, that will say, let us return. We need Akonuche. We need to think strategically. So you see these fellows, I've also confronted a top security chief. And I said, you people are allowing these people to operate. Why can't you get Facebook and others to take down these accounts? You know, there's a way around this way and that way and the other.
Thank you, Emeka.
Let me tell you something. All of this must come to an end. Then just let me change this in. Those checkpoints, those military and police checkpoints have to be reviewed because they are just being used to extort road users, not for security. Because look at the last attack in Igbo. The last attack in Igbo, in Anambra State. The guys that operated in the Lexus Jeep and the Toyota Sienna were said to have driven past the police checkpoint without number plates. So how come did they stop somewhere and remove their number plates? How come the police didn't search them? Knowing that people have been using Sienna for attacks, Sienna and Lexus. I believe that the security agencies in the southeast, if they see any Sienna or Lexus, pack them and search everywhere, search the occupants, search them, because those are choice vehicles for attacks.
Thank you so much, Emeka Magnan. Cyril Abako, I believe you have an opposing view to this in a way. I know that. And also, the Igbos being easily subdued at home. Can we say this is politically motivated in a way so as to pass a message?
Well, let me just say an optional view, not necessarily a contrary view, but the point to be made is that the Igbo being, so where the Igbo psyche is today, domestic Igbo psyche, is a place where any little impulse or any little stimulus can just quickly make it, yes. And it didn't become that today. That thing is a journey. If you study psychology, people don't just come to the point where everything we give them fear. Okay, so they walk to that point. But I understand that people should. I mean, it's like when somebody is arrested unlawfully, taken to a police station, maybe you spend about a week there. Once you come out to that place and your handcuffs have been taken off, I think the first issue is to start walking. You can seek justice as you walk, but walk. Don't stand there and start. You walk because freedom is given to you. You walk. So they walk, and that I agree. But then, in Nigeria, I think that it is politically correct to say we are for fairness, we are for equity, we are for justice, we are for truth. But I believe that some persons in their secret recesses sit back and celebrate the fact that we are able to defeat Biafra and maybe celebrate the fact that they've subdued a part of Nigeria. I believe so. I honestly believe so. But victimhood is one thing. Victimization becomes another. Okay. Today in Nigeria, virtually every part of Nigeria has become a victim of Nigeria. So the Igbo may have been victimized, no doubt about it. You can't unread history. But everybody now, what did people say they are going to do for the sit at home? That people that it was the day they are going to release the Biafran flag. I don't know.
Their tanks.
What is that? The Igbo are by far learned, are by far industrious, are by far more enterprising. They are Nigeria's Germany. They are Nigeria's Israel, in the way of speaking. So I just feel that we are all where we are today because maybe the experiment that they experimented with the Southeast now has gone round. Okay, so but if you keep somebody down, you are done with him.
Yeah.
What can we do? It is Nigeria that must rise. They call to this not to say the South issue. It is Nigeria itself that must be willing and ready to rise. That way, all of us will lift ourselves up together. But to make it to continue to look at from one regional point of view, we won't go too far with it.
Thank you so much, Cyril Abako. At this point, we also want to say thank you, Emeka Matnago, for your time. Thank you for giving us that detailed analysis. Thank you so much, Harry.
Thank you.
Okay. When we return, House of Reps rejects bill to broaden scope of Islamic law in Nigeria's constitution.
Please stay with us.